Good afternoon. I'm Jill Pfeiffer, Professor of Mathematics and Vice President for Research. I'm really happy to welcome all of you to Brown's annual celebration of research. The last time we were all together for this event, we gathered in the faculty club, enjoying a glass of wine, some food, and each other's company. That was April of 2019, more than 2 years ago. In 2020, we had to cancel the celebration of research, so I'm just tremendously pleased that we're able to gather at least virtually this year. We're especially delighted to be able to include in this gathering the recognition of our award recipients for 2020, along with the new 2021 awardees. If you're able to stay with us through the end of this event, we'll provide an opportunity after the formalities for more casual interactions. Today, I want to focus not on the difficulties of this past year, but on the extraordinary resilience, creativity, and generosity of researchers and scholars at Brown. This has been a year in which the world has seen a remarkable validation of the importance of university research. Brown researchers, including our students, have made and are poised to make really extraordinary contributions to improving life and the quality of life, even in the context of a pandemic. So let me start today's celebration by introducing Provost Rick Locke, whose leadership for Brown's research enterprise and truly for all aspects of our work and academic life at Brown in this past year has been simply invaluable. Provost Locke is the Schreiber Family Professor of Political Science and International and Public Affairs, the author of 5 books, and recipient of a political science and recipient of scholarly awards. He is an internationally respected authority on international labor rights, comparative political economy, employment relations, and corporate responsibility. Let me start by welcoming Provost Locke.
Thank you, Jill, and thank you all for being here today to acknowledge and celebrate the exceptional research that's taking place these days at Brown. Let me also give a special thanks to Jill and her team for the amazing work that they performed this year under the most challenging of circumstances to ensure that researchers, like the ones that we are celebrating today, could continue their work safely, and that the university could continue to fulfill its mission. Among the very first things we did when the pandemic hit was to ramp down research, which was a monumental task. And then slowly and with great care, thought, cooperation, and creativity, gradually and safely resume that research. And I agree with you, Jill, that this last year has underscored the essential role that research has played in advancing knowledge and addressing some of society's most pressing challenges. If you think about the past year, we've had a public health crisis like one that we haven't seen in society for the last 100 years, and it's made us have to rethink basically every aspect of our lives. We've witnessed disturbing violence against people of color and have experienced nationwide protests justly calling for racial equity and justice. And it's been an incredibly tumultuous year politically across many, many dimensions. And this is all incredibly unsettling, but I also believe that we as a university have not only the capacity, but it's our responsibility to translate the research we do on addressing some of society's most pressing challenges to actually make a difference. And that's why the work that all of you who do the research here at Brown, why it's so important. This is why we've worked so hard to ensure that we're able to fulfill our mission at the very highest levels of this period. What we do, what we offer as a university matters. And I would argue that it matters more today than perhaps in any day, any year in the last several decades. That's why we must continue to do the high impact research that we do and that we celebrate today. And I'm so pleased that our campus community has risen to the challenge. We've had an excellent year in terms of research funding, research proposals, research expenditures these past 15 months. In fact, if you look at grant proposals, research expenditures since the pandemic, we've actually done better than pre-pandemic. And it's not just the volume of research and the range of research, but also specifically the research that's being done on campus on COVID-19 has really been expanding the research enterprise at Brown in highly important and impactful ways. And we've seen this across the disciplines. Not only research on COVID, but what we've also seen is really some record-setting grants. One to the School of Public Health from the National Institutes of Health on research being done on Alzheimer's. And also what we saw in the last year was the renewal of the NSF award to the Institute for Computational and Experimental Research in Math. These are two of the largest research grants that Brown has ever gotten in its history, which is really, really exciting given all of the challenge that we're continuing to make progress throughout the university, but especially in these very significant grants. We are committed as a university to continue this trajectory. And to continue this trajectory, we have to invest in people, the exceptional faculty, students, and staff who at their very core are doing this kind of important research. And this is why we're here today, to celebrate some of our colleagues, a group of our colleagues who through their work and their innovation, their curiosity, and the incredible high standards of excellence that they set for themselves and their work have done amazing work that we are here to celebrate and recognize. So I really think this is actually one of the happiest days that we have on campus. Events like today's help showcase the sort of and inspire and reward the kind of path-breaking scholarship that takes place across so many fields at the university. And so it's really a pleasure and an honor to be able to celebrate with you today. And really congratulations to all of the awardees and everyone who is involved in the very important research that's taking place at Brown. Now, I have the great pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Maria Zuber, who earned her PhD in geophysics in 1986 here at Brown and is currently a trustee on the Brown Corporation. Maria is someone that I've known for many years. She is the E.A. Griswold Professor of Geophysics and the Vice President of Research at MIT, where she is responsible for research administration and policy, intellectual property, research integrity and compliance, as well as research relationships with the federal government. She oversees MIT's Lincoln Laboratory and more than a dozen interdisciplinary research laboratories and centers, and leads MIT's plan for action on climate change, which just recently had a second real boost. Her own research bridges planetary geophysics and the technology of space-based laser and radio systems. Since 1990, she has held leadership roles associated with scientific experiments or instrumentation on 10 NASA missions, most notably serving as the principal investigator of the Gravity Recovery and Interior Laboratory mission. She is the first woman to lead a science department at MIT and the first to lead a NASA planetary mission. She's won numerous awards, and I can't list them all, but including the MIT James R. Killian Jr. Faculty Achievement Award, which is the highest honor that MIT bestows on one of its faculty. And I actually was lucky enough to be at the faculty meeting when Maria won that award and was just blown away by the brief talk she gave about her research that led to this award. It was just really terrific. Maria is a member of the National Academy of Sciences and the American Philosophical Society, and is a fellow for the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, the American Association for the Advancement of Science, the Geological Society, and the American Geophysical Union. She was named one of the 50 most important women in science by Discover magazine, and in 2008, she was named to the US News Harvard Kennedy School list of America's best leaders. She has had several federal level appointments, including being named by President Obama to the National Science Board in 2013, a post that she was reappointed to in 2018. And she served as board chair from 2016 to 2018. In 2021, President Biden appointed her as co-chair of the President's Council of Advisors on Science and Technology, PCAST. I've had the great joy of knowing Maria for many years, and I am really truly grateful for all that she does, has done, and will continue to do for Brown University. So please join me in welcoming Maria Zuber.
Thank you, Rick, and I'm so happy to be here. I'm really delighted to join with my colleagues at Brown leadership today in this celebration of research at Brown. Research is central to Brown's mission to serve the community, the nation, and the world by discovering, communicating, and preserving knowledge and understanding in a spirit of free inquiry, and by educating and preparing students to discharge offices of life with usefulness and reputation. Indeed, a holistic education for Brown's extraordinary students should include both the acquisition of existing knowledge and the creation of new knowledge. Brown's students have been successful learners for years before matriculating, so the pursuit of knowledge creation can be an effective way of getting them out of their comfort zones and helping them to identify and further develop their skill set. It was during my time in graduate school at Brown when I came to the realization that I was capable of addressing any question that I wanted, as long as I was willing to simplify it to the point where I had a problem that I could actually solve. It was a lesson I use often in a career of breaking down what I call classic wicked hard problems into tractable pieces. In today's complex world, there are many such problems, from how to create equitable societies to how do we remove carbon from the world's energy system. I want all of you to realize that research is a priority for the Brown Corporation, which, as Rick noted, on which I sit, and not because it sometimes contributes to the university's bottom line. Practically speaking, some kinds of research generate revenue, but the reality is that the university doesn't recover all the costs of doing most research, and it doesn't recover any of the costs of other kinds of research, particularly in social science and humanistic fields. But research is such an integral part of the fabric of the intellectual mission at Brown that the leadership deems it appropriate to seek philanthropic support and to invest to make it possible for all manner of scholarly work to take place. The amount of research taking place at Brown, as Rick noted, is growing, and the stature of the university is growing as well. And these two factors are not unrelated. Much of Brown's research reflects the university's distinctive strengths. Brown's open curriculum represents the foundation for intellectual experimentation and interdisciplinary collaboration that extends from education to research and brings bright minds with diverse viewpoints together to facilitate the advance of culture and society. Research is an essential component of economic competitiveness, national security, and health and wellness. Never has the latter been so dramatically exemplified as in the previous year with the pandemic, and I'd like to offer a special shout out to colleagues in the medical school and the School of Public Health for their discoveries that are helping to keep our communities safe and well. With this backdrop, we celebrate the research awardees of the Brown community. I'd like to congratulate the awardees and express my personal appreciation for their creativity and tireless work to advance scholarship, explore the unknown, and invent the future. And now, Jill, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Zuber, for those inspiring remarks. I'm so glad you were able to join us today. We're going to turn now to the celebration of Brown's Seed Awards. Great. What you're seeing on the screen are the names of the 2020 and 2021 funded projects, along with the names of the faculty principal investigators. The Brown Seeds is a program administered by the Research Office for the past 18 years. It's designed to support early stage research and to enable faculty to submit more competitive proposals for external funding. In the Research Office, we've been tracking this program and its outcomes since 2002. Brown has distributed more than $9 million in seed funding, and it has a remarkable return on investment of more than 13 to 1. More than $110 million has followed in additional grants from federal agencies and private foundations seeded by these awards. So each year, in a competitive process, we receive dozens of seed proposals from faculty, individuals, and teams. These proposals are then reviewed by expert faculty panels. In 2020, there were 16 awarded seed projects and another 18 in 2021. The funding for these seeds ranges from about $50,000 to up to $100,000 each. Seed projects span all disciplines and involve both junior and senior faculty, as well as postdocs, undergraduates, and graduate students. There are so many examples of impactful and high-profile Brown research projects that were started with seed awards, but I'll just tell you about a couple of them. One among these many outstanding examples is XROM, the X-ray reconstruction of moving morphology. A seed award helped Dr. Elizabeth Brainerd, a professor of biology and medical science, develop an extraordinary technology for visualizing bones and joints in motion. With the work accomplished using these first seed awards, Dr. Brainerd later gained major funding support from the National Science Foundation, from the Keck Foundation, and the XROM technology has been adopted around the world. It's opened up new research areas. Let me give you another recent example. Jacob Rosenstein of engineering and Brenda Rubenstein of chemistry began an ambitious high-risk project with 2017 seed awards. So this project evolved into a multi-million-dollar molecular informatics collaboration funded by, among others, DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. Professors Rosenstein and Rubenstein are now really among the leaders in a field whose ultimate goal is to store information and do computations using DNA and synthetic molecules. So let me just close this segment by extending sincere congratulations to all of this year's and last year's Seed Award winners and best wishes for their 34 incredibly promising projects. Okay, the next segment has to do with a unique group of Seed Awards created by the university to catalyze research targeting the urgent research questions raised by the pandemic. Last March, many campus researchers mobilized to provide aid locally and around the world, helping to provide personal protective equipment to local healthcare systems, making viral transport medium for testing, and other volunteer efforts. The Dean of Medicine, Jack Elias, called on Dr. Jeff Bailey, Menkoff Family Professor of Pathology and Laboratory Medicine, to form a COVID research task force consisting of faculty in medicine and public health, in part to coordinate these volunteer efforts. So in April, when President Paxson announced the establishment of the Brown COVID-19 Research Seed Fund, The task force worked with the Office of Research Strategy and Development to solicit and vet the innovative research proposals. In President Paxton's words, the seed money was designed to fast track innovative research proposals that directly address the urgent needs of the COVID-19 pandemic. Within a few weeks of the announcement, 15 projects were chosen for these COVID seed awards, and it's been amazing to see so many of these projects develop, even under these extraordinary challenging conditions, into projects that have already attracted funding. So far, these projects have gained more than $2.5 million in additional funding from external sources. Let me highlight one of these incredible projects, the support for the establishment of a biobank in coordination with Lifespan and Care New England. The biobank is today an important source of human plasma and serum samples for COVID investigators at Brown and all around the state of Rhode Island. The return on this investment for medical research will continue for years. Let me also share with you that over 60 Brown faculty from 33 departments and centers have submitted COVID research proposals totaling nearly $62 million in requested funding. Congratulations to all of our COVID Seed Award researchers, as well as thank you to all of the Brown faculty who pivoted their research to address the pandemic. In our next segment, we will celebrate the recipients of the Richard B. Solomon Faculty Research Awards. The Solomon Awards, named in honor of a former chancellor of Brown University, recognize excellence and potential impact in scholarship. In 2020, 17 Brown faculty were Solomon Award winners, and another 16 were awarded in 2021. Proposals for the Solomon Awards are also reviewed by faculty experts for merit and for the potential impact of the research in the field. One key consideration of the reviewers is the potential impact of the award on the ability to make progress on the project. In addition, preference is given to early career faculty to support them as they build their research portfolio. The funding is up to $15,000 for each project, and although open to all disciplines, many of the Solomon Awards go to projects in the humanities, the arts, and the social sciences. While we scroll through the names of this year's and last year's Solomon winners, I'd like to tell you about some of our past Solomon awardees. A few years ago, a Solomon Award supported the creation of a classical music CD of music composed by Eric Nathan. One of the pieces on the CD, The Space of a Door, was commissioned by the Boston Symphony Orchestra, which then performed its world premiere. Solomons have also been crucial for distinctive book projects in many areas. Bathsheba DeMuth of the History Department created her award-winning environmental history of the Bering Strait with the help of a Solomon Award. Another book project supported by a Solomon grant represented a milestone for Brown. History professor Tara Numadal created Furnace and Fugue, Brown's initial digital-first book last year. This incredible online reimagining of this book is part of Brown's digital publications initiative, supported by the Andrew Mellon Foundation. New funding from the Andrew Mellon Foundation is now providing major resources to Brown for this initiative. The Solomon Awards have also supported ambitious studies and projects such as the investigation by Jayanti Owens of sociology and Watson into how Black and Latino children are disproportionately punished at school. So let me extend my sincere congratulations to all of our 2020 and 2021 Solomon Award winners. So now we turn to the Research Achievement Awards. Supported by the president and the provost, this program, now in its 5th year, allows the university to recognize some of the extraordinary research contributions of our faculty. There are 2 categories of Research Achievement Awards, Distinguished and Early Career. In both cases, nominations were judged by faculty and deans. In addition to the awards, the winners each receive a $5,000 research stipend. So I will now ask the deans to recognize the awardees in their schools. We'll first turn to Dean Ashish Jha to recognize the awardees from the School of Public Health.
Great. Good afternoon, everybody. And it really is my honor to recognize the 2 award winners, one early career, one distinguished. So the early career award goes to Jennifer Merrill. She is an associate professor of behavioral and social science, and she studies the causes and consequences of alcohol misuse among young adults. Jen is highly prolific, having published over 80 peer-reviewed publications with colleagues both across Brown and other institutions. She has already gotten early career awards from the Research Society on Alcoholism and American Psychological Association. And I think pretty soon we're going to be running out of awards for Jennifer. She has previously received the Solomon Award in 2019 and recently won the 2021 Dean's Award for mentoring at SPH. So not just a terrific researcher, but a great mentor, and we're thrilled that she won the early career award. I will move on to talking about the Distinguished Research Achievement Award. And this year that goes to Peter Monti. Peter is the Donald Millard Distinguished Professor at the school, and he also directs the Center for Alcohol and Addiction Studies at Brown. He has taught us, his work has taught us the biobehavioral mechanisms that underlie addictive behavior. And it's really been an expansive body of work. He's published over 400 peer-reviewed publications. I will not go through all 400 of them with you, but I will say that beyond his prolific research activity, he has also trained generations of researchers who have then gone on to teach us so much about the broader field of addiction, from tobacco to alcohol to other areas. He has also had a distinguished career already, having won so many different awards. One I want to quickly highlight, which is the NIH's Mendelsohn Award for his longstanding contributions to understanding and treatment of substance use disorders. And I'll just finish off by saying Peter is the quintessential model of a great scholar, a great leader, a great teacher, and a great mentor. And we are thrilled to see him receive this distinguished award. So Jennifer and Peter, thank you both for your contributions and congratulations.
Thank you, Dean Jha. Dean Larry Larson will now recognize awardees from engineering.
Thank you, Jill. It's my great pleasure to recognize Professor Anita Shukla, who is the 2020 Early Career Research Achievement Award winner. And I would say, echoing what Dean Jha just said, the list of awards that Professor Shukla has received is very, very long and incredibly impressive. Professor Shukla is the recipient of the Presidential Early Career Award for Scientists and Engineers, the so-called PCAST Award, a National Science Foundation Career Award, and also an Office of Naval Research Director of Research Early Career Grant, amongst many, many others. Professor Shukla's research focuses on designing responsive and targeted biomaterials for applications in drug delivery and regenerative medicine. She's a member of the Center for Biomedical Engineering at Brown and has done considerable work on treating infections, including development of bacteria and fungi degradable hydrogels to control resistance and toxicity. Professor Shukla is incredibly involved in mentoring students within the biomedical engineering program and is one of our most beloved and effective teachers in the biomedical engineering program at Brown. So I'm extremely proud and enthusiastic to congratulate Professor Shukla once again on the Early Career Research Achievement Award. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll now ask Dean Kevin McLaughlin to recognize awardees from the College of Arts and Sciences.
Thank you very much, Jill. It's a pleasure to be here today with you and to congratulate and recognize the awardees for research citations whose departments are under the Dean of the Faculty's office. There are 5 individuals I'd like to recognize. First is Robert Blair. Rob is receiving an Early Career Research Achievement Award. Professor Blair is Joukowsky Family Assistant Professor of Political Science and International Public Affairs. He studies how political legitimacy and trust in government can be restored after periods of civil disorder and governance failure. He has conducted numerous evaluations of security sector reform initiatives in Liberia, Uganda, and Colombia, and he has written widely in political science journals. His first book is titled Peacekeeping, Policing, and the Rule of Law After Civil War. He also led development of cross-institutional consortium on democratic erosion that now spans more than 50 universities around the world, combining research, teaching, and policy engagement to address threats to democracy. Congratulations to Professor Blair on this award. Next is Wu Chen, who is receiving an Early Career Research Achievement Award. Professor Chen is an assistant professor of chemistry, and his research has gained wide attention for developing novel materials, including nanocrystals. His research team is finding new uses for quantum dots and discovered a new quasi-crystalline lattice, a form of nanomaterial. In 2020, Professor Chen earned a Sloan Research Achievement Award and a Career Award from the National Science Foundation, a 3M Faculty Award, and he was also named a Dreyfus Teacher Scholar. Since joining the Brown faculty in 2015, he has published more than 50 peer-reviewed papers. He has initiated an annual STEM Day for local high school students and is active as a mentor to undergraduate and graduate students. Congratulations, Professor Chen. Next is Michael Littman. Michael received a Distinguished Research Achievement Award. He is the Royce Family Professor of Teaching Excellence in Computer Science. He focuses his research on artificial intelligence, machine learning, and human-computer interaction. He is co-director of Brown's Humanities-Centered Robotics Initiative, leading work to make computers, robots, and other devices more easily usable. Professor Littman is a leader in reinforcement learning, a subfield of artificial intelligence, and has received Best Paper awards on complexity analysis of planning under uncertainty, algorithms for efficient reinforcement learning, and meta-learning for computer crossword solving. He was made an Association for Computing Machinery Fellow for contributions to design and analysis of sequential decision-making algorithms in artificial intelligence. Congratulations, Professor Littman. Next is Kavita Ramanan, who is receiving a Distinguished Research Achievement Award. Professor Ramanan is the Roland George Dwight Richardson University Professor of Applied Mathematics. Her research focuses on probability theory and stochastic processes, which involve creating new mathematical frameworks for the study of random phenomena. Professor Ramanan, who earned her PhD from Brown, joined Brown's faculty more than a decade later in 2010. She has won many awards, including the Erlang Prize for Outstanding Contributions to Applied Probability, a Simons Fellowship, a Guggenheim Fellowship, and a 2020 Newton Award from the US Department of Defense for transformative ideas during the COVID-19 pandemic. She has authored over 70 publications and is the holder of 4 US patents. She is also director of the Institute for Computational and Experimental Research in Mathematics at Brown. Congratulations, Professor Ramanan. And the last awardee from the Dean of the Faculty's Office is Ramel Ross, who's receiving an Early Career Achievement Award. There's Ramel. Professor Ross, an assistant professor in the Visual Arts Department, is a writer, photographer, and filmmaker. He was director, cinematographer, film editor, and co-writer for Hale County This Morning, This Evening, an impressionistic film on the Black experience in rural Alabama. It won many awards, including a special jury prize from the Sundance Film Festival, and his film was nominated for a 2018 Academy Award for Best Documentary Feature. His most recent film, Easter Snap, about a hog processing company in the South, has won several awards. His photography has been widely exhibited in the United States and internationally and published in major newspapers, magazines, and journals. He was a 2020 USA Artist Fellow. Congratulations, Professor Ross.
Thank you, Dean McLaughlin. So now I'd like to ask Dean Jack Elias to recognize the awardees from the School of Medicine.
Thank you, Jill. It's a pleasure to be able to introduce the 5 awardees from Biomed to you. The first is Sylvia Chiang, who has received an Early Career Research Achievement Award. Dr. Chiang is an assistant professor of pediatrics. She conducts clinical and epidemiologic research on pediatric and adolescent tuberculosis. Her current research funding includes an International Research Scientist Development Award from the National Institutes of Health to study adolescent adherence to tuberculosis treatments and a Charles Hood Foundation Child Health Award. She received a Young Physician Scientist Award from the American Society for Clinical Investigation and is a pediatric infectious disease physician at Hasbro Children's Hospital. Most of Dr. Chiang's extensive field research takes place in Lima, Peru. She has authored the tuberculosis chapter in the recent edition of Principles and Practice of Pediatric Infectious Diseases. Congratulations, Professor Chiang. The second awardee is Nicholas Fauzi, who has received an Early Career Research Achievement Award. Professor Fauzi is an associate professor in the Department of Molecular Pharmacology, Physiology, and Biotechnology. His research centers on increasing understanding of the structure, interactions, regulation, and function of a class of RNA processing assemblies whose dysfunction has implications for neurodegenerative diseases. He has achieved success in visualizing these proteins in visualizing the structural detail of disordered proteins in phase separation. Previously, understanding the physiology of membraneless organelles and their pathophysiologic function was associated with cancer, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, and frontotemporal dementia, and it was hampered by the inability to actually visualize these proteins, and he has addressed that at atomic resolution. Professor Fauzi has received a National Science Foundation Career Award in 2019. Congratulations, Professor Fauzi. Professor Susan Jerby is receiving the Distinguished Research Achievement Award. She is the George Eggleston Professor of Biochemistry. She's been influential in advancing knowledge about the structure, evolution, and biogenesis of ribosomes, which are the cellular factories that make up proteins. She has also been instrumental in developing methodology to map DNA replication origins on chromosomes. Dr. Jerby has received many appointments and honors during her career, including from the American Society for Cell Biology, where she was president, fellow in the Senior Leadership Award, the Genetics Society of America, where she received the George Beadle Award, and the American Association for the Advancement of Science, in which she is a fellow. She was the founding chair of Brown's Department of Molecular Biology, Cell Biology, and Biochemistry. Professor Jerby has been a participant in advocate for multidisciplinary research in biology and computer science and translation of biology into medical applications for cancer and antibiotics. Many of her undergraduate and graduate students have won awards for their teaching, and she has been a national leader in graduate and postdoctoral scholar training. The next award goes to John Sedevy as a Distinguished Achievement Award. Professor Sedevy is the Herman C. Bumpus Professor of Biology and Director of the Center for the Biology of Aging. He has been recognized internationally for making advances in basic research on a form of cellular aging and death known as cell senescence. His recent research has focused on primitive viral-like entities in human genomes known as transposable elements and their role in promoting age-related inflammation of tissues, including the nervous system. Dr. Sedevy is currently engaged in the translation of these discoveries for the treatment of age-associated disorders, including Alzheimer's. And the last awardee is Frank Selke, who receives a Distinguished Research Achievement Award. Dr. Selke is the Carl Carlson and Gloria Carlson Professor and Chief of Cardiothoracic Surgery at Brown's Warren Alpert Medical School and the Lifespan Hospitals. He specializes in the study of microvascular cardiac injury, as well as restoring blood flow to the heart. Dr. Selke's translational research focuses on optimizing outcomes after cardiac surgery and in the microcirculation of the heart, lung, brain, and other organs. His research has been funded continuously by the NIH for more than 28 years, and he has mentored and trained more than 80 pre- and postdoctoral fellows. Dr. Selke has won many awards, serves on many different editorial boards for 9 different journals, has edited 3 textbooks, and has more than 540 peer-reviewed publications. Congratulations to all 5 of you.
Thank you, Dean Elias. And thanks to everyone for attending to today's event. A special thanks to Rick Locke and to our distinguished guest, Maria Zuber, for really inspiring remarks and for all the work that they do to support research here at Brown. I'd like to thank Media Services, Events and Conference Services, especially Danielle Izzy, and the staff at OVPR, some of whom helped with the SEED program itself, as well as with this program. We called out Amy Carroll, Margaret Manning, Adele Minogue, Brittany Palethorpe, Noel Rubinton, Michael Santoyamo. So our formal program concludes now, but if we were at the faculty club, we would be pausing to chat over a glass of wine or food. And we're going to put a link in the chat to inviting you to a casual Zoom where you'll have the opportunity to bring a drink of choice and move among some breakout rooms and talk to our awardees and meet their friends and family and possibly pets in a more casual setting. So you should see the link in the chat now. And we're going to leave this up for a couple of moments so that you can, if you click on it now, you can move into it now, or you can also copy it and join in a few moments. So let's take a few minutes to open up the chat and make sure that everybody's got the Zoom link copied. Great. And once again, join us if you can. It's such an honor to be able to celebrate research and these amazing achievements here at Brown. So thank you.
Thank you, Jill.